Domain of functions. F of x is x to the 4 minus 5x cubed plus 7x minus 13. This is a polynomial function, so we do not have any restrictions on x. So in this case, we say that the domain of this function will be all real numbers. That means negative infinity to positive infinity. Not a problem at all on this polynomial function. Now, if you look at the second one, gx, you have fourth root of x minus 8x plus 7. So this one has some restriction that if you have fourth root or any even you have there like 4, 6, 8 or just a square root, if exponent is like 1/2, 1/4, 1/6 like that, rational exponents, then there is a restriction that inside the radical sign, you always say that that argument will be greater or equal to 0. So then on the number line, if you see 0 here and all the other values you can take on the right hand side of 0. So then domain you can say 0 to infinity. Number 3, you have cube root. So cube root is not a problem. If you have fifth root or seventh root odd order, then again the domain will be negative infinity, positive infinity. Next, number 4. Number 4 is a rational function. See, as you see, kx is 3x minus 7 over x plus 6. If you look at the numerator, 3x minus 7, we have no issues there. But only x plus 6 must not be equal to 0. Because if you have non-zero something over 0 or 0 over 0, these are always undefined. So we'll say that in the domain, x plus 6 should not be 0. That means x cannot be negative 6. So then on the number line, you have a negative 6 here. You can take everything other than negative 6. So the domain for this one will be negative infinity to negative 6 open interval, and then union with negative 6 to infinity. So that's why in number 4, our domain will be negative infinity to negative 6 union negative 6 to infinity. Next, we'll look at number 5. In number 5, again, we see square root we have in the top. So the restriction will be x minus 1 should be greater or equal to 0 in the numerator. That means x is greater or equal to 1. And then from the denominator, you can see x square minus 36, that must not be equal to 0. And then you can say that x should not be equal to plus or minus 6. Now, as you see the restrictions, I have here x equals 1, then I have here x equals negative 6, and then I have here x equals positive 6, right? So as you see, we are saying that x cannot be plus or minus 6, but in the restriction again we are saying x must be greater or equal to 1. So then it starts from here. So this one we cannot take. That our domain will be starting from 1, so you go to 6, and then again it starts from 6, goes all the way to infinity. And that's the domain of the function mx.